Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay. Now this is going to be the third. We are going to learn about learning. Learning. We are going to learn. Like I told you earlier, university in the computer lab connection is very strong. This lecture is being recorded as usual, and I will share it in the Dell after I finish this session. Now I'll tell you what is meant by learning ethology. Now you are learning, aren't you? We all learn. So in terms of ethology, you understand what is by learning. Then there are different types of learning. Number one, habituation. It is also known, my name also inside the lecture. Then trial and error, also known as operant condition. And then finally, insight learning. We are going to learn about these 5 types of learning. Before that, I'll tell it by learning in ethology. Right. Good. I know that some of you other countries, right? So the place where you go is, of course, these days, right? So in the airport, there are dogs, not just stray dogs, drug-in dogs. මද්‍රව්‍ය අල්ලන බල්ලෝ. ඒගොල්ලෝ මේ අයිති අර customs department එකට. customs රේගු department. ඒගොල්ලෝ train කරලා තියෙනවා. Dogs are trained very well to scoff the bags and then to detect the drugs. If in case there are drugs, heroin, to they sniff them and then let the owner know that there is something in it, so that in the drugs out of the country or into the country will be, you know, punished according to the legal system, right? Okay, I know that not many of you have gone out of the country, but still you have seen the police dogs. Police ballo දැකලා තියෙනවනේ. හරිද? police ballo කියලා කියන්නේ පොලිසියේ ඉන්න train කරපු බල්ලෝ. හරි? ඒක police ballo උපයෝගී කරගන්නවා ඒ තිනි මරුව අල්ලන්න detect කරගන්න. So the trainers, they have trained these animals something new. They have learned something new. Now, I'm sure that almost all of you have gone to the zoo. So, at about around 4. Sorry, not in the morning, in the evening, there is a elephant show. Have you seen that? You know, ඊට පස්සේ ඊළඟ අලියා එනවා අල්ලගෙන හොඬෙන් අල්ලගන්න. ඒ දෙවෙනි අලියාගේ නැට්ට තුන්වෙනි වෙන අලියා හොඬෙන් අල්ලගෙන උන් පීරියට එනවා. Now after they came into that central arena, now tell them to do various things. Now for example, sit on a stool, then to sit on the hind legs only, the back legs, and then they will, okay. Then there is also a seal show. Now, in this photograph, I am showing eel holding a ball at the tip of its tail. Can you all see it? Using the sea? Now it is standing on its flippers. Evolution. It is standing on the flippers and it is holding the bowl. Now, this animal has been trained to do this thing. So the animal has learned. Now, by the side of the seal is the trainer, the person declared task. Not only this one, the seals, they do various other things, right? In the zoological garden. What is therefore learning? No, not only that. Right? So something. Petto bat kavan. Petto nagitaladu maalakullu. Then ballutin hungak givallu pet dog sata ekeka kodi ugannana. They learn something new. So based on all these things, now we can give a kind of a definition to learning. Learning is the ability of an animal to modify its basic behavior patterns. How do they do it? They do it as a result of personal experience. As a result of experience, if an animal can change its basic behavior, then we say that it is learning. Right? Even now, you learn something. Right? We learn. I learn. Right? Now, these are only two examples. I will tell you different types of learning. Right? Now, by learning, what's the use of learning? Why do the animals learn? It's a question, right? New things, animals will be better adapted to the environment, right? They will be better adapted to the environment. Therefore, learning is said to be adaptive. It's said to be adaptive. It is said to be adaptive because learning ensures the survival in the unpredictable environment. So, for example, if we learn it. But if we did not know how to climb into that tree, surely that will be there. So we die. Only if you survive, only if you live, you can reproduce and you can pass your genes to the next generation. Right? Therefore, learning is said to be adaptive. Now, like I said, 5 major types of learning. So I'll take the first type of learning, that is what you call imprinting. Imprinting. Right? Now, imprinting. Before I tell you about imprinting, let me show you a small video clip. Video clips upload. After the lecture, you will be able to watch these video clips. Hello? Screen share. ये कॅलनी sound share. Oh, hari ni. Handa, then Operant, do you hear the sound here in this video clip?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you see a man talking?
Each individual is born with
Yes, sir.
built-in
Yes, sir.
behavioral
Okay,
patterns.
all right, okay.
Some of these must be developed, learned by experience. What kind of food to eat, what dangers to avoid. Young lions are taught to hunt. Young gulls how to land against
Later you will watch this video, right? We'll watch this, but I will do only the parts that I need to show you.
Here in this animal society, Florence has discovered
Now,
greed,
this person is
jealousy,
Conrad Lawrence
last a lifetime.
on, geese, grey-lag geese. On the grey-lag geese කියන සත්තු.
Conrad Lawrence gave by the constant chattering, the young learn to recognize the voices of their young. From the beginning, sound is a critical part in the life. The young cluster around the first adults they see.
Hari. Now, for a while, I had to tell you, now what you saw was grey-lag mother lays the eggs and then she incubates it, the eggs. And after the incubation period, the goslings, the babies, they come out. So immediately the baby geese, the goslings would see is the mother. The babies begin to follow the mother. The babies begin to follow the mother. Now, Lawrence observed again and again. So he, in that experiment, what he did was, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what Lawrence did was, he collected eggs, the grey-lag geese eggs. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ බිත්තර එකතු කරලා කණ්ඩායම් දෙකකට බෙදුවා. මෙතන එක කණ්ඩායමක් අර ඉන්කියුබේටර් එකක දාලා අර අම්මගෙන් වෙන් කරලා එක එකක දාලා ඊට පස්සේ රැක්කෙව්වා. අනිත් බිත්තර තොගේ අම්මා ළඟම තිබ්බා. ඊට පස්සේ ඔන්න ඉන්කියුබේටර් එක ඉවරනාට කරනවා. So the baby geese who were incubated by the actual mother see their actual mother first and then begins to follow that mother. Whereas in the other group, the goslings, their mother, but what they see is, because at the time of him, Lawrence was around. So the goslings began to follow Lawrence. In other words, these goslings at a very early stage, something moving. Not only that, at the same time, Lawrence made a quack kind of sound. So that was a kind of a signal. The moving, Lawrence was just walking, making this quack sound, to which these goslings stimulated. And thereafter, these goslings always began to follow Lawrence. Whereas in the other group, the other goslings who incubated the mother always followed the mother. Right? What Lawrence did was that he mixed these two, put in a box and then released them. Again, the goslings who saw Lawrence first always followed Lawrence, and the other goslings who was with the actual mother always follow the actual mother. හරිද? Did you understand? ඉතින් යම් කිසි ජීවි සතෙකුගේ බොහොම critical stage එක මේ young age එකේදී they will learn to follow anything by sound, right? By the movement or by tactile visual, tactile sparsha. They will learn to follow that object. Now this behavior learning type is what you call imprinting. Right? Make a touch of balance, then you understand it better.
They are their teachers and guides throughout the first months of life.
So these goslings always follow their mother.
Accepting as beings they see is part of the phenomenon known to scientists as imprinting. The look and the voice of the adults are indelibly etched on the young animal's mind. And what is once imprinted can never be erased. It's the beginning of their education, the primary stepping stone of life. In a sterile-looking incubator, much of Lawrence's fascinating work has its beginning. Inside are still unhatched goslings, not by their natural parents, but by young students of Conrad Lawrence. Christine is the only parent these yet unborn geese will ever know. While in the egg, they begin to learn the sound of her voice has begun. From inside its egg, a gosling. For days, this process will continue. Finally, the goslings begin emerging a researcher whose voice they already know. Imitating the behavior of a mother goose, Christine begins to imprint her appearance as well as her voice in the newly hatched gosling's mind. The gosling responds, making its own distinctive sounds. In nature, parent their own offspring in voices. This explicate nature is possible. Goslings are never raised up. Christine will raise 3 together. For the first few days of their life, other human beings. She is their source of nourishment and security. The continual sounds between the researcher and the goslings, it tells both mother and offspring is near. Now that's how successful the imprinting is. When the gosling is leaving, they chase after her, as if they were pursuing their real mother. It was in 1935 when Conrad Lawrence began his specialized experiments with wild geese.
This is Conrad
when the
Lawrence.
first group of animals were imprinted upon the young scientist.
Now these goslings are
Since that
imprinted
time, Lawrence and his
to
colleagues
humans.
have been followed by countless generations of geese.
See?
With his geese, Lawrence began to open up a new science and earn the nickname the father of the study which deals with animal behavior. Lawrence discovered long ago that goslings and other living creatures follow beings they have been imprinted on. Today, foster parents are recognized by the pattern on their boots.
Okay.
One young family of goslings follows striped boots.
See? Immediately after the birth, the goslings would see not by the
Another
humans.
group identifies its mother by polka dots.
Now after that, to follow the person. Now these goslings
Still
are
another by a
imprinted
zigzag
to
design.
the human. The imprinting occurs at a very early.
And for one group, mother is a pair of striped boots, a young blonde named Christine. Now the goslings are brought together, their own foster parent. The power of imprinting is revealed. Not a single gosling strays or is distracted. They cling to the individual on whom they had bitten. There is no confusion, problem distinguishing their own foster parent. Part of Lawrence's work is devoted to gaining insight in life. It begins in part through inheritance. They will be influenced by the mother's rank. One student in the background more dominant, the aggressor. Her outstretched hand is like the threateningly
My
stretched
छोटा
neck of a
advance
goose.
this video, right? You see?
Summer is nearly over.
You see
And
now
the Weslings have grown
they are
into imposing
following their
adolescents.
imprinted
Throughout the
mothers.
summer, the rank order experiments have continued. Young geese still follow their human foster parents. And the rank to reduce the amount of fighting for food into the world of animals to understand their needs and language.
Right. Now let me stop sharing. Right. At my lecture again. Did you were you attentive? Video clip. Okay, right, fine. A very young animal. Now this part is very, very important, right? Now, very young, it has visual, auditory, or tactile experience, and thereafter follows that object. Very young animal learns to recognize, respond, and attach to the first object, auditory or tactile experience, and thereafter follows that object. Now, this is what imprinting. So as already explained in that video, now this was first proposed by the great scientist Konrad Lorenz. Konrad Lorenz, you already know about that. He is considered of the modern ethology, right? Now, there are several advantages of imprinting. Imprinting allows the baby animal to stand the appropriate behaviors and vocalization. උන්ච සතුන්ට ඒගොල්ලෝන්ගේ විශේෂ අනික් කට්ටිය මූලික රටා සහ ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ හැසිරීම අඳුර ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙනවා. Second one, this also helps the baby animals to identify their own species, so that in a later stage of life they will be able to understand, identify their mating partners. So that is essential because mating is very important to pass their genes to the next generation. Now, this is terms Lorenz experiment that led to the creation of imprinting. Now this is the gray-lag geese that you saw earlier in my second lecture. Now he collected the eggs and then divided the eggs into two batches. And the first batch was incubated by the actual mother, and the second batch was in an artificial incubator, right? And after the incubation period, the eggs hatched. So the young baby animals, call them the goslings, they come out. So immediately after they come out, what they see is their actual mother. In this case, the goslings will see Lorenz. So now Lorenz lived in Vienna, Austria. It's a European country. Now it's history says that it was a very common thing in Vienna, the city. When Lorenz, goes in somewhere and the guys followed him. It was, because they thought that mother. So this is to say that these goslings here, they have imprint. Now these goslings in here. So they are imprinted to, in here, they are imprinted to their actual mother. time you saw that the goslings were put together in the goslings were released, and even after that they always followed their imprinted mother, the actual mother or the foster mother. In this case, Lawrence. Now, from this, what Lawrence concluded was that once imprinted, it cannot be erased. It cannot be erased. Cannot be erased. Now, there are four important characteristics of imprinting. The first one is imprinting occurs during a very sensitive or specific developmental stage of life, usually in a very young stage. Now, for example, as far as the grey-lag geese are concerned, also the ducks and other bird species, this imprinting period is usually between 12 to 17 hours, 12 to 17 hours. And after that, it is difficult to imprint them. It is impossible. So this occurs only during a very, very sensitive period of time. Right? The second thing, there must be a special signal, the special for the young animal to be imprinted. So as far as example for grey-lag geese, the imprinting stimulus, we call it a releaser, right? We call it a releaser. Me imprint කරන්න යන උත්තේජිත විශේෂ නමක් කියනවා releaser, right? සිංහල වචන අහන්න එපා, please, right? It's called a releaser. Now the releaser for the grey-lag geese, goslings is the quack, 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 quack sound and moving away from them. ඕක තමයි ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ ඒ සිග්නල් එක imprinted. To that they imprint. That girl was holding an egg and then making wee kind of sound. Yes, and then to which the baby inside responded. Right now, the third important characteristic of imprinting is it is reversible or it can be repeatedly modified. Right? It cannot be reversed. Once imprinted, it is always imprinted. You cannot erase it, and you cannot change it either. Right? For example, recognize Lawrence as lives. And also is the very reason why almost all of the parents everywhere in the world want to send their children into good schools in the formative years of the young age. චූටි කාලේ තමයි ඔය හැම එක්කෙනෙක්ම අම්මා කෙනෙක්ම තාත්තා කෙනෙක්ම ඔයාලා පුදුම උත්සාහයක් කරා. ඒකට හේතුව තමයි the reason is the good imprinting releases are always there in those, they believe, the good schools. Right? So then, we also imprint. You see, this person, this young man, is imprinted to the adults. You see, the way he walks. Another example here. This baby is father in this stupid person. Now that's the same reason why, if I have boys in this class, right? The mothers always insist the fathers not to smoke in front of children. Also, mothers, not only the mothers, the fathers each other vulgar words because they would be imprinted to all those things. right? And now interest, now there is a very interesting in YouTube, right? Fly Away Home. Do I have any person who has watched this film, Fly Away Home? It's a very
Yes, sir.
very nice family film. Sanjeeva, have you?
Yes.
You have watched it.
Yeah,
Okay, can you story?
I think birds were not able to go their home. Then this girl using that person.
No. Why do you think? Why did
what's
you
that?
say that the birds? Why did you say that the birds could not go there to their natural homes? Why? There must be reason. මතකද කතාව?
They can't find the mean තියෙනවා ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ අර කාලා මේ කාල ගුණයට තරණය කරන්න. ඉතින් අර මෙයා adapt කරන
නෙමෙයි මෙතන හේතු උනේ. I will tell the story in Sinhala. Now මේකෙත් තියෙන්නේ ඔය ගීස්ලා ගැන තමයි grey-lag geese තමයි. Now I told you in one of my earlier lectures that they are migratory species, right? So they migrate to the warm areas during the winter, right? And they come back when the summer arrives. So now this particular family lives in that cold area. They experience the winter. Hari ඒවතේම මම කියන්නේ සමහරවිට winter කාලේට ආවට පස්සේ විතර දානවා කියලා. ඔන්න හරි වැඩේ උනේ. විතර දැම්මා. හැබැයි ඒ ළඟ තිබ්බ කැලෑවක් එලි කරන්න ගත්තා. කවුද ඩෙවලොප් එකට. හරිද? එතකොට මෙතන හිටපු අර මහ කුරුල්ල ඔක්කොම පියාඹගෙන ගියා, but the eggs remained. හරි කොහොම හරි අර because of the the natural temperature, the eggs incubated naturally and now the goslings are stranded. What is it? The goslings are stranded. Now they're seen by this young girl in the family. Instead, the father that they teach these birds to fly, right? For which they use various devices, and eventually, if I remember correct, and they make a little flying machine. Now they teach them how to fly. Now that is to say that this story actually is telling how these baby are imprinted to them. Now during the winter arrives, next year these cannot stay there. They have to go to their wintering homes, to warmer areas. So they don't know the way. So what they did was that they flew to their wintering homes, and then the followed them. It's a beautiful story. Fly Away Home. Now I have ordered this the video earlier, not this video, right? But the educational video in the Cal, so that you can watch it later. Okay. Now then the next type of learning, habituation. Habituation is again, before I tell, let me share another video clip related to habituation, right? Please hold. Watch that, look at this snail, right? Now this one just there is no any sound here, so don't worry about the sound, but you still see this, no? Okay, now we have a snail. Okay, watch carefully. Now attracted. Okay. the tentacles are retracted. That's a response. Lower. Now he is, but the animal stopped responding, isn't it? The animal stopped responding. This one stopped responding. Okay, keep watching. Lower and lower, this animal learns that the stimulus is harmless. The stimulus, that is harmless. So the animal learns. Therefore, the animal learns not to respond to that. It learns not to respond to that. Habituation. I think you will habituation video clips. So you will watch these 2 video clips. You see, these are not very long videos, just 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, so they have been uploaded to the Cal. So let me stop that. So let me go back to my lecture. You see, habituation is a form of learning where animals learn not to stimulus. That is repeated frequently. Form of learning where animals learn not a harmless stimulus. That is repeated frequently. Imprinting, sorry. Cross in so so in a paddy field, what you usually observe is that there are parrots coming in order to eat the paddy seeds. So to avoid, they erect a hitona. So immediately they will begin to fly away. So eventually they learn that the scarecrow will not. For them to fly away, this served initially as a stimulus. As a response, so they flew away. So later on, what happens is that you hear that they even began to sit on its on the scarecrow. Right? Hani Rahita Utteje digatamenti and put a Patichara Dapanita Sattu Ganagan. Habituation. Right? That is clearly born in this. That is in this graph as well. In the x-axis, I indicate the exposure. Now, this is the first time, right? So we have a bigger response, and then gradually, as the time goes on, this response, decreases, right? So the animal learns gradually not to respond to the harmless stimulus. So that is what you call the habituation. පුරුදු වීම කියලා කියනවා අපි. දැන් මේකට සරල උදාහරණයක් කියන්න. හරි. ඕනම කෙනෙක් කියන්න පුළුවන් උදාහරණයක්. කියන්න කතා කරලා කියන්න. මම දන්න උදාහරණේ දන්නවා. ඔයාලා උදාහරණේ අහලා තියෙනවා. You are also habituated that I am not going to make any punishment to you, so knowing that you are habituated to that. Right? Pantina, Ilirano, I mean, at the Pantiga. And then Hamle Balla Katandria Latina, Hamle Balla, Ude de la Ravenakang, Hamalkara, now he is quite used that he knows that that particular sound does not does not harm it. So when it is, lightning, the dog is not at all scared because it does know that lightning also will not make any harm to it. That is how it is. Right? So the animals learn gradually respond to material and harmless stimuli. Okay, අනිත් පැත්ත වෙන්න හැබැයි අපි habituation වලදී හම්චි කරන්නේ.